Alright, what's up everybody? So we back with another one, the Road Trip Chronicles. It's actually fight week, man. We got the Benavídez versus Anthony Yarde fight, and then, Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. A lot of good fights coming up this weekend, right? And, I'm going to talk a little bit about all of them, bro, because I've been gone for a minute, man. I've been super busy. This year, I actually saturated myself with a lot of tattoo expos, bro. I've been going to a lot of tattoo expos, man. And I just got super busy with that shit. And, but this weekend, yesterday actually, was my last tattoo expo for the year. So now I'm finally a little bit more, I got a little bit more free time to chop it up with you guys, right? And get back into this boxing shit. So let's talk about it, right? I actually saw the face-off between David Benavídez versus Anthony Yarde, where they're at the round table and they're talking to each other. They're keeping it real professional, real respectful. They're being real cool with each other. But they told each other, at the face-off interview, they were like, hey, it is what it is outside the ring, but, come fight night, I'm going to, Benavídez told him, I'm going to try to hurt you every single round. Anthony Yarde told him the same thing. He says that he thinks he's got a little bit more power than David Benavídez. And I do think that that is true, because David Benavídez is not really known for having that power like Anthony Yarde. I'm talking about that like one-hitter knockout power. Anthony Yarde, we've seen that he does possess that type of power. Whereas Benavídez has never been on record saying that he's a one-punch knockout artist. Actually, I've seen Benavídez say that he measures his punches with 50% power, 50% speed, and this is his fighting style, right? We all know this shit. He puts the pressure on all of these. He's got power, don't get me wrong, right? He's got power. All of these shots that he throws punches and bunches with enough power behind every single one of them to inflict damage, and this is how he pretty much breaks down all of his opponents, which I think is smart as fuck, bro, because all these people that load up on them one shots, you're trying to get, not that you're trying to get lucky, right? But you're relying too much on that one shot, right? And what if that shot doesn't come? This is where a lot of these type of fighters, they get themselves in trouble, So whereas Benavídez, his game plan is punches and bunches, and them punches are gonna land eventually, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna break you down eventually. So, when it comes to this fight, bro, I'd rather go with that fighting style of David Benavídez, that we know that it just works for him, right? This guy just walks people down. He puts the pressure on. He puts the mental pressure, physical pressure, and he just breaks his opponents down mentally and physically. It's going to be one hell of a fight, bro. Don't get me wrong. I'm not out here saying that Benavídez is going to run through Anthony Yarde. At this level of boxing, bro, the highest level that is, I really don't be expecting any boxer to run through any other boxer. Of course, they're all going to give... all of these fights are going to be close and shit. So I do expect one hell of a fight, man. And I hope these guys stay true to their word and meet each other in the center of the ring, because, that's going to make for one hell of a fight, an exciting fight. I don't think that's going to happen, bro. I do think that in some point of the fight, they will do it. But for the majority of the fight, they're going to be smart. They're going to be boxing. I do believe that Anthony Yarde is going to be the one to start boxing a little bit more. Because we all know that Benavídez, he relies on his pressure, his come forward style, and I just think it favors him more in this boxing fight, right? And I think that Yarde is gonna have to be the one to start boxing and turning it more into a boxing match than that fighting meet in the center of the ring type of shit. But of course, I'm rocking with Benavídez, man. Is it gonna be a knockout? I don't know, bro. I could see Benavídez stopping, not knocking him out, but I could see Benavídez stopping Anthony Yarde, bro. Maybe late, in the 9th or 10th round or some shit like that. We really haven't seen Benavídez stop anybody or knock out anybody at 175 yet. And I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, Benavídez moved up to 175 and he can't knock nobody out. But it's not just that he moved up to 175, right? It's just that, he moved up to 175 and started taking on a real opposition up there at 175. And I also saw in the face-off, in that interview, that Benavídez was pretty much saying like, hey, I respect Yarde because this is the only guy that took the fight, all of these other guys. And I know he was talking about Benavídez, Bivol, probably even Smith, right? He was calling those guys out for not wanting to fight him, right? As we all know that Benavídez, he's the most fucking avoided fighter in boxing right now, bro. I don't care what nobody says. You can't deny that shit. And Yarde was the only one that stepped up to the plate, so that's why he took on Yarde. And it's one hell of a fight, right? It's a very dangerous opponent. We'll see what happens with Benavídez going forward. I think we might see Benavídez and Benavídez up next, you know. But we'll see what happens, right? Like I said, it's hard to know what's gonna happen when everybody's fucking ducking this guy.